What's up guys, welcome back to even more hidden features and changes in iOS 12. So save yourself all that headache with the iPhone X. Now in iOS 12, when your screen is off and you go to take a screenshot accidentally, which it seems like it always happens, it will no longer do so. Now when you're listening to music and you drag down on the cover sheet, there's a slightly different animation. Notice how on the right on iOS 11, it kind of slides in from the left to the right. Here, it just pops in from the middle. So definitely a little bit cleaner. If you look really closely at the FaceTime icon, it's got a very similar treatment to the camera icon where Apple actually combined a lot of these smaller little elements and rounded it. So many of you guys will be happy to hear that iOS 12 no longer places a dark gradient on top of your wallpapers. This is the same wallpaper, but it appears darker on iOS 11. Now, I've had a lot of people ask me, how do you get this screen here? How do you get the widget to show up? And basically, there's a new feature that iOS implemented, and you have to have location services with weather enabled at all times. So jump into your privacy, go into location services, and then in weather, make sure it's on always. And in the control center now in iOS 12, the do not disturb mode previously did not have a 3D touch toggle. Now it does. So this platter will give you some options for enabling it. Now this is a spectacular update for all devices with a home button. If you're within an app within a folder and you want to go home, you don't have to wait for the animation to finish closing the folder before you can go back to your home screen. As you can see, it was faster. So once again, click home again. It's faster to go back to the home and start using your phone again. Now on the iPhone X, in the app switcher, of course, you can now just swipe up to kill apps, but if you actually hold on the card, it pops up towards you. And in general, I've noticed that on iOS 12, the RAM memory management seems to be a little bit better. More apps are open for longer and I can go way back here and still be where I left off. And sadly, even though I wanted to believe that dark mode was coming, developer Rambo on Twitter is saying that there is no sign within the code that iOS 12 is coming anytime soon. Now within Siri, if you use type to Siri, you can actually program commands and type them and she'll do what you programmed her to do. For example, visit this site. And actual Siri suggestions within Spotlight can be 3D touched. They don't really offer anything new other than a summary within this nice little box, but you can 3D touch them. And notifications now, no matter where they're from, have a slightly different X up here, so it's not part of the prompt any longer, it sits on top of it. So several things about notifications, about how they work that we didn't know. First off, if you receive 2 notifications from one app at the same time, you'll get this prompt, basically asking you if you want to keep receiving notifications because you're getting a lot. Also, if you constantly ignore notifications from a source, it'll give you this prompt. And there are also now trial notifications. So you may see a prompt like this for an app that you never receive notifications from, as iOS can suggest notifications to you now. And a user received this prompt here from Siri, so she'll give you notifications now depending on the contents of your messages. So for example, do not disturb being enabled when you receive a text about dinner. Siri can now also recommend you call somebody back if you miss their call using these Siri suggestions. And in reachability, you can now drop down notifications. Previously, they would hang at the top, but now you can click on them in reachability view. And you can now use reachability on the lock screen. Previously, it would just bug out like this. Now you can, although I don't see the point unless you've got a notification up there that you really can't reach. Also, on the shutdown menu, you can use reachability as well. So let me just activate that so you can go ahead and slide to unlock easier instead of reaching all the way up here. And this is how it actually looks when you use the screen time function and you run out of time. The apps go gray, and when you jump in, this is what you get, a time limit splash screen. So kind of neat, you get a little hourglass right next to it, although it doesn't really make sense because all the sand is at the very top, suggesting that you still have time to use the app. So that might need to be fixed. But also there's a very neat little hack for this. So if you want to technically lock an app, you can just set a time limit on that app for 1 minute, and then every time you jump in, you can actually use a passcode for every 15 minutes to jump into that app. And if you thought you were smarter than screen time and wanted to jump into social media on Safari instead of actually jumping into the app, it won't let you. You still have a time limit even here. And check this out. Safari actually gets tabs in landscape view. And as you can see, there's a little bug there, but this is new to the iPhone X, previously reserved for just Plus models. And check this out. On the iPhone 5S and SE, the actual tab view is now rounded. So as you can see, slightly rounded corners. And a super annoying thing fixed in iOS 12, in Snapchat when you're recording while being connected to a Bluetooth player, there is no longer a pause or lapse in recording when starting that, being connected to a Bluetooth speaker. And this one's kind of nuts. So Memoji can actually track your eye movement. So for example, if you roll your eyes, it is that particular, that detailed where you can actually see your eyes and where they're moving. That's ridiculous. And in the effects menu, you can actually load up as many effects as you want. What I mean by that is you can actually, load up up an Animoji, Memoji, a filter, then put in text and stickers. It can get really loaded here, and I've actually crashed the Messages app just by putting too much in. In the quick reply menu, you can actually now do tap back. So if I double tap on the message, I can go ahead and put a like up here or heart or whatever. Previously, that was not possible. And the keyboard in iOS now works a little bit different for suggestions. It's actually going to highlight the word in this rounded rectangle that it's going to use next, just so you know. Now, CarPlay will let you know when you're getting a text message from a group. Previously, that was not a thing. Now it is, and the convenience is real. Now, in the battery settings, you'll actually get usage statistics when your device is out of cell service. I certainly don't like this change, but the default method for calling people within iOS 12 is now FaceTime audio. So be prepared to use a lot more data. And the Books app now has a default dark mode. Whenever you go into a dark environment, it'll switch over automatically. Unfortunately, there's no way to make it stay, but it is quite nice. And there are definite improvements to the portrait lighting mode on the iPhone 8 and 10 series. Yes, it's still in beta, but it now actually is way more accurate than ever. And on iPad and iPhone, there's a new import screen when importing from an SD card into Photos, much more intuitive. And in Messages, when you go to take a quick photo here, once you do take that photo, there's an actual new screen here before you send it to go ahead and add effects, edit it, or mark up. And it looks a lot like something from Facebook Messenger. And the days of vague update notes are over. Apple has new guidelines in iOS 12 that requires developers to list every change they make more detailed in iOS 12. And when going to an artist's page, there are two different types of artworks depending on where you're coming from. If you click on Go to Artist from the music playing, then you're going to get this one here with this gray bar. If you actually go and search up the artist's page, you're going to get this full screen one, which I prefer. And this button here on the artist's page that plays all the music, every time you press it, it will shuffle all the music over and over if you weren't getting a mix that you liked. And Apple has fixed one of the biggest issues in iOS 11, and that's dropped frames. Using that new technology where they ramp up the CPU load sooner than later, they're actually able to avoid dropped frames. So in many areas where the phone would stutter, in particular when the battery would get to around 5% or lower, that has been completely fixed in iOS. So you shouldn't notice any more stutters in the system UI. And within passwords of settings, you can actually share passwords with other users via AirDrop now. And within saved passwords, it'll actually warn you if you're using the same passcode across different sites. In the clock, in the bedtime settings, you have an option now to enable Do Not Disturb during bedtime directly from within here. So that's quite convenient. Zoom in and you'll notice that they spelt it wrong when Do No Disturb during bedtime is enabled. That's definitely a feature, not a bug. I also noticed that the search results are way more informative now on iOS 12. So searching for the same thing, I'm going to get way more info here. So it's a lot to sift through. And I said this was a feature in my last video where you can swipe to delete and reset the period, but that is not the case. In fact, it's a bug. You can delete system settings over here as well. And within settings, Apple made a slight update to the way that bars and sliders look. So take a look at this up here on brightness. It's definitely thicker than the line is on iOS 11 over here. And for example, within the text size, as you can see, that bar is thicker as well. So it's pretty much everywhere in settings. And within the background app refresh settings, there's a couple new apps that Apple added that are stock, the AppStore and voice memos in here. Now, restrictions on iOS 12 cease to exist. If you had them enabled before and you go ahead and disable them, they're going to disappear forever, just like this, and you will no longer see them within here, so they're gone. So within the Siri and search settings, if I jump into health here, you'll notice there's a new option to control with voice. Also, the option search and Siri suggestions has been renamed to search, lookup, and keyboard, and a slightly different function now. And within every app of Siri and search, there's a new option to actually disable lock screen suggestions for this app individually. And within the location services, system services, there's a new option for do not disturb in here, so you can disable the location tracking on that. Also within the passwords and accounts tab, there's a new option to autofill passwords. And within settings, there's a new tab for stocks. So this is new and it allows you to reset the identifier. And you can now control notifications for books within its settings. There's a new option for online content in here, and there are options here to sync across your other devices. And if you scroll down, you can reset the identifier in here, just like in books. And there's also a new option in here for searching the bookstore, and a tiny one for whatever reason Apple no longer shows you the version of the Books app in here. And within accessibility, with reduce motion enabled, if we jump into the spotlight search and then swipe up, it's a slightly different animation. It fades in instead of slides over. just like that. And within the Braille settings of accessibility, on the very bottom, there's an option to always allow USB devices. And the Podcasts app now supports chapter art. So if you move forward and it's a different chapter, the art will reflect that. And the Field app has been updated. It now fits properly on all 4.7-inch devices, but also supports the iPhone X display as well. And this is something you access from the phone app. And the Home app now supports Airport Express once again, so possibly AirPlay 2 coming to those devices. Several updates within the Home app. On the very top left, you can see that the icon is now a little home instead of the location icon. And jumping into the settings for a HomePod, on the bottom right, instead of details, it's now called settings. And inside of that, you can actually change personal requests now. So in here, you can choose which devices will allow personal requests. And there's a new option to require authentication. You can select never or for secure requests. And the bug where you can make all of the icons disappear on the iPhone has stopped working. It's no longer available. Apple has patched that in iOS 12. But the 3D Touch Spotlight freeze bug still works. As you can see, you can completely freeze your phone with that. And the crash within the Spotlight search still works as well. And unfortunately, Apple has patched the bug that we could use to actually get blank icons. That's no longer available. And lastly, some exclusives on the iPad. So within a call, you're going to get the very same friendly little green bubble in the top right, just like on the iPhone X. Also, if you don't have battery percentage enabled and you swipe down, you're going to see it in the control center, just like on the iPhone X. They ported so many features over. Also forgot to mention this one last time. You can quickly swipe between apps just like on the iPhone X, like this. And developer Rambo is confirming that the Face ID setup UI is actually working on the iPad. It's not complete, but it's there, and it definitely hints that Face ID is coming to the iPad in the future. So guys, those are the latest hidden features found in iOS 12, with most likely more to come in the future. Hope you guys enjoyed it.